Probation is often seen as a simple trial period, a time for both employer and employee to test the working relationship. But under Vietnamese labor law, probation is a legally regulated stage, not a matter of preference. The law defines how long probation can last, how it must be documented, and what happens when it ends. Many foreign companies treat probation informally, using offer letters or verbal agreements. These practices may work elsewhere, but not in Vietnam. When a probation arrangement violates the law, it can be treated as a full employment relationship, with all benefits and protections attached. Understanding the rules for probationary contracts in Vietnam is essential for every employer who wants to stay compliant and protected. Probation in Vietnam is regulated under the Labor Code and its implementing regulations. The law requires that probation be clearly agreed upon in writing, either as a separate probationary contract or as a probation clause within the main labor contract. The key rule is duration. The maximum probation period depends on the job level, up to 60 days for managerial or professional positions, 30 days for skilled workers, and 6 working days for unskilled roles. Extending probation beyond these limits is illegal. During probation, both parties can terminate the agreement without notice, but once the employee passes probation, a full labor contract must be signed immediately. In Vietnam, the probation period is more than a formality, it's a regulated employment phase. The law allows employers to evaluate performance while giving employees basic rights, such as payment, safety, and respect. However, probation cannot be used as a substitute for permanent employment. If an employer keeps a worker beyond the legal probation period without signing a formal contract, the relationship automatically converts into a full labor contract. This means all statutory benefits, insurance, severance, and notice rights, apply from that point. The law protects workers from indefinite probation and ensures employers act transparently. Even experienced HR managers and foreign companies frequently make errors when handling probation. The first mistake is using offer letters as de facto probation agreements. Offer letters are not recognized under Vietnamese law unless they contain all mandatory elements of a contract. The second mistake is applying the wrong probation duration, often exceeding the legal limit for the role. The third is paying less than the required salary. The law mandates that probationary pay must be at least 85% of the full salary for the role. Another mistake is failing to sign a full labor contract immediately after successful probation. When employers delay, the law automatically converts the relationship into indefinite employment, even without documentation. Violating probation regulations exposes employers to multiple risks. If a worker is kept on probation too long or without pay compliance, labor inspectors can impose administrative fines ranging from 4 million to 10 million Vietnamese dongs. More importantly, if an employee claims wrongful termination during probation, authorities may treat the case as a full employment dispute. The company could be forced to reinstate the employee or pay compensation. Inconsistent or informal probation practices also harm reputation and employee morale. In short, cutting corners in probation may save paperwork today but cost much more later. To stay compliant, employers should adopt clear and consistent probation policies. Always use written agreements that specify position, duration, salary, evaluation criteria, and post-probation process. Align the probation length with job complexity and document performance feedback objectively. Maintain signed copies of all probation agreements and reports for inspection. Pay the probation salary through official payroll channels, ensuring at least 85% of the full rate. Once the probation ends successfully, issue a formal labor contract immediately. If the employee fails, provide written notice explaining the decision. Structured documentation protects both employer and employee while demonstrating good faith and compliance during audits. Effective probation management requires coordination between HR and legal. HR oversees onboarding and performance, while legal ensures documentation fully complies with regulations. For foreign employers, bilingual contracts are essential. The Vietnamese version guarantees legal validity, while the English version ensures mutual understanding. Using templates reviewed by legal counsel reduces risk and saves time. LTS law provides bilingual probation templates, compliant clauses, and practical training to help HR teams manage the process confidently and lawfully. A European trading company in Ho Chi Minh City once allowed a probationer to work for 4 months without signing a full contract, thinking it was harmless. When the employee resigned and filed a claim for unpaid benefits, the Labor Authority ruled that the company had an employment relationship for the entire period. The employer had to pay back insurance contributions, compensation, and penalties. This case demonstrates that even unintentional non-compliance during probation can be costly. Documentation and timing are everything. LTS law helps FDI companies establish probation frameworks that meet Vietnamese legal standards. Our team drafts compliant bilingual probation contracts, audits HR practices, and trains management on evaluation and transition procedures. We also integrate probation policies with broader employment systems, ensuring smooth transitions to full employment and full compliance during inspections. Our approach is practical, fast, and legally sound, designed to protect employers from hidden liabilities. Probation may be temporary, but its legal impact is lasting. In Vietnam, one mistake during this short phase can create long-term obligations. Employers who understand and respect probation rules operate more efficiently and safely. If your company is using generic or outdated probation letters, now is the time to fix it. Contact LTS Law today to review your probation policies, update your templates, and train your HR team to manage probation compliantly. Stay legal, stay confident, and make every employment start in Vietnam a strong and compliant one.